Good evening, everybody. My name is Pam Walker. I'm the Director of Financial Aid at Fisher College, located in beautiful downtown Boston in the Back Bay area. And along with me this evening is Tom Engelhardt. He is the Associate Director of Admissions as well as the Assistant Coach of the baseball team. So we're happy that you've joined us, and we're going to discuss financial aid. We're going to give you a brief overview of the financial aid process. So I imagine most students have applied for admission to a number of schools and are ready to, or have applied and or are ready to apply. I'd just like to point out that along with the admission process, you should be applying for financial aid. You should never wait until you're accepted to apply for financial aid. So let's begin by looking at what we're going to talk about this evening. First, we're going to just have a general overview. We're going to talk about the documents that are required to complete the FAFSA application, the types of financial aid that is available. We'll discuss a little bit about the award letter and what the funds mean. We'll look at direct and indirect costs and what that means to you and your family, the gap and we'll define that and what that means and how we can help you out with that. And then last but certainly not least, the verification process, which we'll discuss a little bit about some of the different documents that the school may need if you're selected for verification. So the first thing you want to do is, if this is the first time you're going to be applying for financial aid, one of the first things you want to do is apply for a PIN number. And PIN is short for Personal Identification Number. And the student and the parent needs to do this. And the purpose of this is going to act as your electronic signature for when you sign the federal application, the FAFSA application. And also if you borrow through the direct student loan, you'll need to complete a master promissory note, and you'll use your PIN number for that as well. So you'll go onto the federal website, which you see on your screen, and everything you need to do is going to be right at this website. So PIN number will be the first thing you can do, and simple. You're going to be answering a few questions, and then they will provide you with a 4-digit number that you will use. Once you get your PIN number, the next thing you're going to do is now go back to the website that you see on the screen, and you're going to complete the FAFSA application. Now, of course, we're already past January 1st, but if you haven't done this, it is important to complete this application, especially if you're looking to see if you're eligible for state funding, because many states, especially Massachusetts, have state funds. Mass State is, their deadline is May 1st. So we certainly want students who are interested in Fisher College to be sure to apply far earlier than the May 1st deadline. Many people at this at this time of year has not completed their tax returns. So I encourage you to use estimated numbers. You don't really need your tax return at this point of time. You can use your last paycheck, you can use your W-2, but we really strongly encourage you to use estimated numbers to complete this app. Now, once the FAFSA is completed, then in March, we're going to begin starting to do financial aid award packages. So once we receive your FAFSA information and you've been accepted by Fisher, then we'll work up a nice award package for you. One of the things you want to do also is, if you're applying to more than one school, you want to be sure that once you get all your award packages is to compare them, because they can be very different. The one important date you want to remember is, and it's a universal date that all colleges use, May 1st, is the day you want to tell the college yay or nay whether you're going to be attending the school or not. Then further on in the year, you will want to make some decisions on how to pay for your balance. So if most schools have a payment plan, including Fisher. So that's one way to budget how much you want to pay towards your balance over a course of 10 months. Then if the parents are interested in borrowing to help pay the balance, they can certainly take out a PLUS loan, and we'll talk about that a little bit further on. Bills generally come out in July because the balance due will be sometime in August. So you want to make sure that you keep this in mind. So this is really just a timeline of what to expect over the next few months. So now let's talk about the types of documents you will need to complete the FAFSA application. You're going to need to know your Social Security number for both the parent and the student. If you're a permanent resident, you will use your alien registration number. If you want to, you can also include your driver's license number, but that's not something that you have to do. Now I've listed here the student and parent 2014 tax information, but again, if you haven't completed your federal tax return, you can use estimated numbers. But if you've already done them, pull those out and have them ready to go. You would also, if both parent and student have worked, you received your W-2s, you want to have those on hand as well. Now, we talk about untaxed income because there are going to be questions about that, and that includes child support that's received or paid out, and then if your parents have made any contributions to their retirement funds, you want to know what that information is, and that is found on the W-2. If you have received federal benefits, you may want to know, do you receive food stamps, which is now called SAP, if you receive Social Security, or free lunch. Some of those questions are going to be on there, and they're going to ask you if you receive those or not. Now, asset information can get a little confusing for some, but what I mean by that is when it's asking about assets, we're looking to see what you have for cash savings and checking, and then if there's any other types of investments, such as stock options, does your parents own rental properties, is a second home, land. Those are just some of the investments that they will be looking for. If you do have them, of course. If you don't, then you don't. But these are important to consider and will need to be included on the FAFSA application. Okay, so when do I apply? And again, you're going to first get that PIN number. You are going to complete your FAFSA, and for Fisher, we really encourage you to get that application in by March 15th. It really doesn't take that long. It just is, if you have all your documents in front of you, it shouldn't take you more than an hour. In about a week, usually less, you will receive a document called a student aid report through your email. Now, this student aid report is taking all the information that you provided on the FAFSA application, and it puts it nice, neat into a document that you should review to make sure that there's no mistakes or you miss some information. I remember one parent called me very, very concerned because she had been eligible for certain funding and she found out that she was not eligible this one particular year. So we took a look at her student aid report, and instead of entering $30,000 for her income, she entered $300,000. So that's the type of things you want to make sure that you have put in the correct information. And again, I'm going to encourage you, if your tax returns are not completed, be sure to use estimated numbers. And then once you, if you worked or your parent have filed their federal tax returns, you can now use the IRS data retrieval tool to update your financial information. So when you use estimated financial information, the Department of Education is going to remind you that you are going to have to update your information. And the IRS data retrieval tool is a simple way of downloading that information onto the FAFSA. And they guide you through that process. And again, I recommend that you use this tool. Okay, so now we're going to talk about some types of financial aid that Fisher does offer, and their merit-based awards. And I'm going to turn this over to Tom, who is going to discuss each of the scholarships that you see in front of you. So, one moment. Here is Tom.
Hello, everyone. Hope everyone's doing well. Again, my name is Tom Engelhardt. I'm the Associate Director of Admissions here at Fisher College. So we have a number of merit-based scholarships that new students at the college are eligible for immediately after they are accepted to the college. Now, these scholarships will come in your acceptance packet, and again, they are based on merit. So this does not have anything to do with the need-based portion, but it's still a very important part of the financial aid process. So as you see on the screen, our top scholarship is the Presidential Award for $12,000. This is given to any first-generation college student. In addition to that, students also have the opportunity to receive the Achievement Scholarship for $10,000, the Opportunity Award for $9,000, or the Charles River Award for $7,000. These first four at the top are for first-generation college students only. So as long as you are not transferring from another institution, you will be eligible for one of these awards. These awards are given to students on a yearly basis as long as you are still enrolled full-time at the college. As you can see, we also offer a transfer scholarship to all of our transfer students at the college. This scholarship, similar to the four above, is given to the student on a yearly basis as long as they are enrolled at the college. Fisher, being a nonprofit institute, we are able to provide the max amount of financial aid to our students. So in order to help some of our residential students, we do offer a $3,000 on-campus scholarship. This is given to all students that are accepted to Fisher College and they are living in the residence halls here in Boston. For our commuting students, we do offer an Arlington Award as well. This will also be awarded on top of their merit-based scholarship, and it's given to, again, to all commuting students who have been accepted to the college. And lastly, just to help out our transfer students a little bit more, we offer a Back Bay transfer scholarship for $2,500. As similar to the awards above, this again is a yearly scholarship that as long as you are enrolled at the school full-time, you will be able to receive these great merit scholarship offers on a yearly basis. So they are very, very generous awards, and we are happy to offer them to U.S. students. And obviously, if you do have additional questions, you can contact either the financial aid office or admissions office. So that's a little bit about the merit-based awards that we offer. Again, these come in your acceptance packet once you receive that in the mail, and we hope to hear from you soon if you have questions. I'm going to turn this back over to Pam, and she's going to continue on. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Tom. Yes, they are very, very generous, and they're just really great. Really great. Thank you so much for your time on that. So those are our merit-based. So let's talk a little bit about some of the need-based aid that's available to students. So once you get your merit-based aid, once you've been accepted and you're eligible for any of these merit-based, then we will know that with the FAFSA application that you're interested in some need-based aid. So we will take a look and review your file to see what you're eligible for. So the FAFSA application is going to tell us whether you are eligible for a Pell Grant. These are federal, this comes from the federal government. So the Pell Grant, and there's a wide range, and for 15, 16, it's going to be somewhere around 57, 70, 75 for a full Pell Grant. And the second federal grant that I'd like to speak about that we offer, and if you are eligible, and that's the SCOG grant, short for Supplementary Educational Opportunity Grant. So if you're Pell Grant eligible, we might offer you a little bit of SCOG. Now the state that I mentioned earlier, they also have funding that they offer their students. So if you're a Mass resident and you get your FAFSA application in prior to May 1st, you may be eligible for some Mass grant funding. Certainly quite a bit to help you pay your college costs. And in addition to the Mass grant, there's also the Gilbert grant. So those are a couple of other funds that we do offer our students. Now, in addition to the grant aid that's offered between the federal and the state aid, we also offer the federal loans. Now, I know some people moan and groan, why do I have to take some loans? Well, they generally are low interest rate loans, and you don't have to start paying these loans until after you graduate or drop below half time or withdraw. So, but they're a great way to help you pay your college costs. So we offer the direct student loans, and that includes the subsidized, which is the interest-free loan while you're in school, and the unsubsidized loan, which means that the interest does accrue while you attend school. But again, these are loans that you don't pay, unless you want to, you don't pay while you're in school. We also offer the Parent Plus loan. This is only for the parents, and it's a very simple process, probably one of the easiest loans that parents can receive. They only look at their credit history, and it's another way to, again, help with college costs. The last type of federal loan we offer is the Perkins loan. Now, this is a type of loan that's been around for a very long time, has an interest rate of 5%, and minimal amounts, but again, can certainly help the student. And then we also have work study, federal work study, that for those that are interested to work on campus, there may be some jobs available there. So these, in addition to the merit aid that's being offered, we also have the different types of need-based aid. So we've talked a little bit about, what documents you need to complete the FAFSA application, when to complete it, what you need to have to complete it. We've briefly gone over the merit aid. We just talked about the need-based aid. So now we've decided, we've reviewed your file, and we send you a financial aid award letter. So what does it all mean? So let's break it up a little bit. So if you do get a scholarship or a grant, this is considered gift aid. This is free money that you do not need to pay back. Now, scholarships usually has a small merit-based component to it, and grants usually means there's some kind of need-based. But again, it's gift aid and does not need to be paid back. So certainly that's what most students and parents, of course, love to see on their financial aid award letter. The next part is student loans. And these are funds that are borrowed and must be paid back, of course. But again, you don't pay them back until 6 months after you graduate from school. And then we also have the Perkins loan that might be part of it. Your award letter might also include work study. And again, work study will offer you a certain amount, and you need to work to earn the amount that's on your financial aid award letter. So that's how it's broken up. And When I told you earlier to compare your awards, that's what you want to look at. If you've applied to several schools and you're trying to figure which is the best package, which schools are offering you the most scholarships and grants, and I think you'll see that we certainly do, and then which ones offer, where are the loans? And some schools may even add in the plus loans. So you want to compare it for item. Now, direct cost. You might be thinking, what the heck is direct cost? Well, these are things you're going to actually see on your student bill. And that's going to include the total tuition, the fees, and room and board if you're living on campus. So again, these are things that you will see on the bill that you have to pay, obviously. But in addition to the direct costs, you really need to consider indirect costs too, because these are kinds of things that can add up that you may not be thinking about because you're strictly looking at tuition, fees, and room and board if you're living on campus. But these indirect costs can also do it. So when you're looking at the total cost, try to think of these items as well. And they're going to include books and supplies. And supplies could be, maybe you need a new laptop. Maybe you need to buy the paper to go with that, the print, if you have a printer, if some lab supplies. All of these, again, can add up. Transportation. How are you going to get to Fisher College, for example? Are you going to take the MBTA? Are you going to take transit? Are you going to drive in? Are you going to take the bus in? So these are the kinds of things. And again, you have to consider how much is that going to cost. Loan fees. The loans that I mentioned do have some fees. They're very minimal, but you need to take those into consideration. And last, of course, this is something you absolutely want to consider, is personal expenditures. So what are those, how often are you going to have to buy soap or shampoo or, razors or whatever? These are the kinds of things, again, that will add up, but you need to take them into consideration. So filling the gap, what is it? It's the part that is not covered by financial aid. So you have, here are all your costs: tuition, fees, room and board, books and supplies, and then you get your financial aid award and you subtract that and you see that maybe the financial aid isn't covering all those costs. So you might be asking yourself, well, how am I going to, what are my options to pay the difference? So if you've been diligent about looking at outside scholarships, if you're in high school right now, and when you graduate, you might be one of the lucky ones that does receive some scholarships from your high school, or your high school is encouraging you to look for those outside scholarships. That's one way. Again, to remind you, we do have a school payment plan that you can sign up for and budget over 10 months. You don't have to do the whole balance, but maybe you want to do a portion of it and pay out of pocket. The PLUS loan, again, is in the parent's name. The current interest rate for that is 7.21%. It is for the life of the loan, and again, it's probably one of the easiest loans that a parent can apply for. And then we do have a selection of alternative loans. These are private loans that are in the student's name, but must have a credit-worthy cosigner in order to get these loans, and they are variable. And it should be, think about the federal student loans first before considering the alternative loans. But again, they're there to help you out if you need them. Now, verification is a process that means we need to take a look at the information you provided on your FAFSA, and we need to ask you for some additional documents to compare it to. And the verification process is a random selection by the Department of Education. Sometimes you might be answering the FAFSA and it might raise a red flag, but generally that's not the case. It's just a random selection. But it is going to mean you're going to have to supply us with additional documents. And if you are selected, you must provide this, or if you don't, then the award letter becomes null. So it's very important to keep this in mind. So we would be looking for your parent 2014 tax transcripts and W-2s, along with the student. If you worked and you filed a federal tax return, we would need that tax transcript. There's a verification worksheet you would need to complete, and there might be some other documentation that we might ask you to give us. But again, I stress this because I don't want to take away the aid that we gave you because you didn't provide us the required documents. So, so that's what verification is in a nutshell, but we certainly are here to help you through any of this process. So if you want some assistance in understanding some of the questions or how our process works even further, we are certainly happy to consider, certainly happy to assist you in any way. So I'm going to see if anybody has any questions out there, and we'll be happy to answer those questions right now. Okay, well, that concludes this evening's presentation, and this will be posted for future use for your review. But again, if you need some admissions assistance, Tom and his team are more than happy to help out, and if you need financial aid assistance, myself and my team are very happy to assist you in any way. Thank you so much for attending this presentation.